Welcome to Channel Y. I'm Ramona Singh.
Hello everyone, this is Yudhvir Jaswal and I'm the group editor at Y Media.
How can you up your game?
How you can be the best version of you. What brings happiness to life? Ramona ji, what brings happiness to your life?
How do you create your best life? How do you create your best life?
What is important to you? Money or happiness?
Join us every Sunday at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 10 p.m. for Food for Thought.
Keep watching Channel Y.
Hello and welcome to Food for Thought. I'm Ramona Singh, and it's always great to have this conversation with you and talk about issues that really matter, that make you feel like you really want to talk about or have been on your mind. And today is no exception, because we've always heard growing up about being, humble. Your parents try to teach you about humility and what it means and how to behave in certain places. And so as you've heard it for so long about being humble and what humility means and how can you be in a sense of being humble in terms of, around other people or when certain things happen. Well, today's conversation is about how to be humble and what does it actually really mean? Well, I'm going to start with a beautiful quote. And before we start on the beautiful quote, I'm going to introduce Yudhvir Jaswal, who is the group editor of Y Media. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much, Ramona ji. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. And humility, what an amazing topic that we're going to discuss today. And I hope our viewers are going to enjoy this, why we should be humble, how to stay humble, and about humility. Thank you.
Absolutely. So this quote that I thought would be fabulous to start with is, humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. And it sounds very generalized, but isn't it so true that humility is really the foundation of it all?
I couldn't agree more on this one because, as I was discussing in my previous episodes as well, say for instance, if all boxes are ticked, when I say all boxes are ticked, I mean the basic obvious things are done. You're taking care of your health, you have good education, good career, but still you want to transform yourself. Maybe on the path to spirituality, yes or no, but you just want to transform. Everyone tells, let's be a good human being. But what is one thing which you pick first? If anybody would ask me, and again, this is my humble opinion here. If I had to pick just one virtue, just one value that you need to start working on, that will be humble. Humility is the first one. And it is certainly the basis of all other different things. How? Okay, you have two directions to go. One is, okay, you tap into your ego, you have a lot of ego, you're self-centered, and on the other track, you start being humble. On one side, you will face challenges in all aspects. If you have a lot of ego, you're not able to channelize your ego, you're not able to manage your ego, then you'll have all those challenges. What is on this side? Okay, on this side, we're not able to manage our ego. And on this side, I say, yes, we're very humble. On this side, you will have jealousy because we're egoistic. Oh, how come that person is grown? On this side, we're not ready to listen to anyone. On this side, we're not ready to forgive anyone. How did that person do? I'm going to definitely take revenge. On this side, you're going to be judgmental. You're going to compare yourself with others, and so many challenges, so much you would be left with so much bitterness on this side. And eventually this is not the path to success, whether in career, in business, and especially in personal relationship. And more importantly, I'm coming on this side, spirituality. If you want to, actually, if you ask me, what is the number one thing I would want to make sure that yes, we're on the right path of spirituality, I will start with humbleness. And on this side, what is on this side? On this side, where there is humbleness, no judgments, no comparison, no jealousy. Why? I'll tell you why. Why all these things will start happening with you. As a kid, I used to go with my parents, and everyone knows by this time, my parents got baptized, in which say, Amrit Shakla, they got baptized. Over there, everyone was almost baptized, and they used to grow their beard, and here I am, like, I wasn't baptized, I was, so I used to, how do I tell myself, what do I do? I said, these are all PhD level students, and here I am, a kindergarten or a LKG or a grade 1 student. So I would tell myself that yes, I'm good, so that I don't lower my self-esteem, but everyone around me is the best. So I think that was now looking back things in the hindsight, I think that was my base for being humble. And when you're there, now this is one guy, like at home, I never even, took a glass of water by myself. Whether parents would do or there was domestic help available, they would do that. And when I'm here at this Gurdwara Sahib, at this Sikh temple, I am, serving the food. I am serving the food. I'm even picking up the dishes. Okay, because everyone does that. This is called seva. And I'm doing the dishes. And I'm sitting outside. I am polishing the shoes. Anyone, not even knowing who they are, cleaning shoes, polishing shoes, putting them in nicely in the rack. This was such an humbling experience. So that build the base, and I'm telling myself consistently, everyone, they're so pious, they're so religious, and I'm good, but everyone is very well above me. So that helped me that yes, I'm not going to compare myself with anyone, everyone is good, and who am I to forgive even everyone? When people say, I cannot forget this person, he said this to me, I remember, no, I don't even think that. I am nobody to pardon anyone or forgive anyone. No, being humble. So on this side, no judgments at all, because I've already admitted that yes, everyone is better than me. On this side, it's all about living in gratitude, complete gratitude. One of the best things that even as a child, the word is, we would say shukar hai, shukar hai, shukar hai, shukar hai. Practicing this word consistently, shukar hai ji, shukar hai ji, shukar hai. So when we say shukar hai means living in gratitude, thank you, it means simply thank you. So living in gratitude, so all these things helped me a lot in my life, because my business now, it's actually dragging me towards this side. Because when you're in media, it's all about your brand, it's all about your business, it's all about how many people know my name, YuppTV should be known, why media should be known. Okay, it's putting on this side. Because all about branding, ego, going on stage, holding the mic, speaking opportunity, all about show business. But then I said, this is fine, this is okay for the business, but this is not who I am. This doesn't define me at all. I have to stick on this side. I have to be very humble. And honestly, being humble, even the other day someone asked me on radio that being humble or humility is taken as a weakness in business. No, I don't think so. I think let the universe work for you. Let the superpower, let the God, whatever you want to call that power, let that work for you. Live in gratitude, be humble, everything will fall in its place. And I completely agree with the statement that you made right at the start, that this, because, this, just by being humble, all good things will start happening to you. Be humble. You won't judge anyone. I won't say the jealousy will go away totally. You'll be a lot less jealous. You won't be angry. You won't feel to retaliate to anyone. There wouldn't be any revengeful feelings. All those good things will start happening to you. What's your take on this one?
You're absolutely right, and you said it so beautifully. When it comes to humility, for me, it's about understanding that I have limitations, and therefore I don't know it all. I'm not the best at everything. It's understanding the reality of things. I am here, a soul having a physical experience, and I'm connected and one with all beings, all living beings, people, animals, the planet. Like there's a connectedness that is here, and humility allows me to understand that how I treat someone else, it's really how I'm treating myself, right? How well I respect someone is how much I have respect for myself, and that connection that's there. And so that's what, to me, humility means, to be able to have that, because the opposite of that is for me to feel disconnected, to feel separate from others, and then to have a level of comparison where I feel like I understand something better, or I know something, or I'm better. And when you go into that headspace is when things will get very difficult for you, because you'll be surprised very fast that that's not the case in reality. And so I think for me, when it comes to practicing humility, is understanding that we're all on this journey. We all have the lessons we're here to learn. We all have our own individual path. And as you may come across any of your challenges or struggles or whatever the case is, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, whatever level of challenge it is, that understand the person who you also may not tell you is going through their own set of challenges. And so that level of humility allows you to have compassion for others. And I think when you spend some time getting to know yourself and understanding yourself and having compassion for yourself, you start becoming very okay with yourself, where you do not have the need to, I guess, in a stimulus way, like outwardly put yourself out there to seek anything more than you are, right? Because there's just no need for it. And I think that just your actions start speaking for themselves the more, I think, calmer you become as a human being, because you're okay and you're simply grateful to be alive, and you're grateful for, the path you're on. You're grateful every morning you wake up and here's another opportunity to do things. Every hour is a reset, really. So I think all of that together can make you more humble of your existence. So I'll actually tell you a story. About 11 years ago, I went to, the first time I did meditation is I decided to go to do this meditation style called Vipassana. And there's Vipassana centers all around the world. And this type of meditation style, and I had not done meditation before. And I don't know why it was like a 0 to 100 in terms of the level of challenge, because it's a 10-day day course or retreat, you could say, one day before you check in, one day after. So you're dedicating about 12 days. And in those 10 days, you're meditating for about 10 hours a day, and your day starts at 4 a.m. and it'll end around 8 or 9. And there you stick to a completely vegetarian lifestyle, because you're not supposed to bring harm on anything. And as you're there and learning to be in the present, because you don't make any eye contact with other people, because it creates, the whole focus is not to create thought in the future or the past, either a negative or positive thought. And so while you practice being present, your mind should not be in the future or the past, negative or present, when you or negative or positive, but yet you're in the present through breathing techniques. And every day there's a way. And I won't go into much explanation, because I think everybody should try it and it'll unfold. I mean, it was recommended to me by somebody I worked with in the past, and so I said, okay, let me give it a try. They didn't really tell me all this stuff. They just said, the way they explained to me is that they're like, imagine you're an onion and you start peeling layers of that onion till you get to the center. And that's all they told me, and I signed up for it, and I was, and so it was a wonderful surprise. But so you're focusing on that, and what ends up happening is, at some point, you become so in the present that you become almost, and I don't want to put my experience so somebody else doesn't expect the same experience, but overall, your sense of humility comes full circle, because you realize your very existence is a miracle. The fact that you don't have to tell your heart to work, the fact that you don't have to tell your eyes to blink, the fact that you don't have to remind yourself to breathe. And it's all just functioning on its own, the way your digestive system works, or your immunity, and if you get a cut, the way it heals. Like, your body is a miracle on its own. And because we're so disconnected sometimes from our body, because we're out here in the world, like because of what's on our thoughts and what our goals are and what's happening with people or things or events, we're so outside of ourselves that we forget the miracle that we are. And so that is also part of humility, aside from how you, and then it translates to people and other things. Everything will just come, together that way. And as I was saying, you have a birthday to celebrate, right? So I made a joke, but I meant it. I said, well, it's really your Mother's Day, because the mother is the one who had the effort. Yes, it's God's blessing to be born, but the effort goes to the mother. Like, we're really born effortlessly. Like, what did you really do in the fetus? It was all effortless in that sense. And so that's what I have to say about humility.
Very nicely said, very nicely put, very good points that you just made. And picking 2 points, I'll just elaborate them further. One of the things that we were discussing earlier as well, and you mentioned right now as well, in today's day and age, what happens is that with the advancement in technology, so we see ourselves comparing with others. And you just now said that, yes, when you are in Vipassana, you're appreciating your own existence. That's what's happening at the Vipassana camps. So basically, you're once again aligning with your own soul. And our soul is very humble. Imagine a 5-year-old kid. A 5-year-old kid, it's humble. It doesn't have any ego. It's very much humble. And the 5-year-old kid doesn't say, okay, I want a big house, I want a car, I want my name or branding or anything. No, not at all. When you're in Vipassana, you're exactly behaving as the 5-year-old kid, except that, yes, there will be certain restrictions you're not seeing anywhere, or others like that. But that 5-year-old kid is in bliss all the time. As long as it's getting food, attention, love, everything. So what we can learn in Vipassana, the same thing we can learn from this 5-year-old, as long as we are humble, yes, that fountain of love will start flowing from within. We will not be comparing ourselves with anybody. The jealousy factor is gone. Why would we compare with anybody? Because we've already admitted that everyone is better than me. Simple theory. How do you be humble? Simply admit this, that everyone on this planet, they're all God sent, and everyone is having soul. So how can I say I am better? So that way I'm trying to tell my soul is better than the other person. There is no way. Like, the soul is the same 5-year-old kid that had the soul. So I cannot say this.
God favors me more. It's like saying that.
Yeah. So I think, and our soul doesn't actually need all these things. This is all our body conscious, which is telling us, do this, do that, I need this. No, our soul doesn't need anything. And the basic principle is live in gratitude, accept, and you made a point on the earlier show and right now as well. Many professions, what happens? Oh, how did you get successful? Oh, I worked very hard. Oh, I'm very intelligent. Oh, I'm very sharp. I'm this. I can tell 10 things about me. But let's come to the point. If someone, as a journalist, usually I ask question, but if somebody asks me a counter question, okay, what did you say? You worked very hard. There are millions of people who are working very hard, sir. Okay, sir, I'm very intelligent. There are millions of people who are very intelligent and far more intelligent than you. What else? What else you want to say? Okay, I can say I'm very talented, my reading speed. Sir, all these things are very much present. So I asked myself this question. I asked, why is it that people are loving me? Because of the simple reason. Remember one thing, I always tell this thing to myself. It's nothing that I've done. No, there is a greater power at work. And how does that greater power help us? People ask me, God is there. Yes, when people are loving you, when people really care for you. Yes, be humble, say thank you, live in gratitude, no jealousy, do not try to even think of hurting anybody. You'll see that power. Everything is working for yourself.
Yeah, so how do you get rid of jealousy? I think maybe some people might wonder.
Very simple. I had this challenge, by the way. I had this challenge because...
and the reason I ask is because sometimes when you feel that, you feel like it's out of your control, right? So it's because if somebody had the choice not to feel jealous, surely they would choose not to be jealous because it's I think not such a good feeling. So perhaps they may feel that it's not in my control, I'm just jealous. So how do you overcome that?
I already had this theory in my mind, but you gave me a prayer. You gave me a prayer.
Yes, it helps.
Ho'oponopo. So I'll repeat that prayer right now. Actually, I wanted to do it at the end of the show, but I'll repeat that prayer again once again and tell you how not to feel jealous.
Yes.
First thing, whenever I look at anyone, now, say for example, if these are 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 people in front of you, and you think, okay, I'm feeling jealous from them. Repeat this prayer behind me, repeat this for you, and I'll also give you a mantra, which I already had. With that, I've never felt jealous from anybody. Okay, what is that prayer? First of all, say, thank you. Thank you. Live in gratitude. So when I'm saying thank you with my hands folded, how can I be jealous? What am I saying? Thank you. What I'm saying, this second thing, I am sorry. I'm saying sorry. How can I be jealous? Third thing, please forgive me. And now the fourth and the most important point, this is my mantra, and this is an amazing mantra. And I'll repeat that again for you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Most important thing, I love you. It's all God's creation.
Yeah.
If I strongly believe in this prayer, if I strongly believe that everyone has a soul, my soul is connected to them, there is no way I can feel jealous. No way. Because when I'm feeling jealous, I'm judging them. I cannot judge them. When I'm feeling jealous, I'm trying to send some negative vibrations that why are they better than me? No, I cannot do that. And yes, again, it comes with practice. And I tell you how you will not feel jealous or revengeful or any of those
You're
things.
absolutely right.
And you'll start feeling love from within. How do you feel that? First of all, what happens is you program yourself. Start practicing. And then you won't even have to practice it. It'll come on its own. So start programming first of all. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. I love everyone in this world. And no jealousy for anyone. Start saying this. Start practicing. It'll become a habit. And eventually, you won't have to practice. It'll come from within.
You're absolutely right. Anytime you practice that, it very much calms you down and immediately shifts your vibration. You go from feeling very negative, whether it's envy, shame, all those things go hand in hand. And then all of a sudden you go towards positivity, such as gratitude and kindness and love. Because you're right, when you say I'm sorry, that's coming from a place of humility. Please forgive me. Again, you're humbling yourself. And then to say, thank you for all that, and then I love you is you're one with everything. When you do that, you're not going to feel it. It automatically works on you because you realize that your emotions are not you. You are just your awareness. Like you as a human being are awareness. So as your thoughts are coming to you, your emotions are coming to you, they're not you because you could immediately change your emotions. So how could that be you? How did you just change in seconds? So it's not really you. You're just observing what the thoughts that are making you have these feelings that are triggering it. And so understand that you're just awareness. That's what you are. And when you're aware, when you become fully knowledgeable that you're just awareness, and you can watch your thoughts come by with the feelings that come up with it, and then you could immediately shift it by doing the Ho'oponopono or shifting your thoughts. You realize you don't feel those things. And there's this saying that says your feelings will follow action. So if you smile, like if you're crying, let's just say, and then you decide you're going to smile, all of a sudden you smile and then all of a sudden the tears kind of stop. It's just kind of a shift that happens, or you smile and then your face feels it, and then you're just kind of happy all of a sudden. Or if you say I love you, then you feel it. Or when you say I'm sorry, you feel like these shifts happen. So your feelings will always follow those actions. So just act, like you said, train yourself. You get to the custom and it creates the patterns in your mind because there are patterns that get cemented. Imagine when there's a grass field and people who cut through the grass field and just walk on a path, you see that path doesn't have any grass, but it is just dirt as they cut through the grass. And the more you walk on that path, the more grass just cannot grow and that's how your mind is. When you feed it one thought, if it's negative, you're creating that path where you just then the connectivity isn't there. So you really have to practice these things and just know that whatever you're feeling, you're just being aware of that feeling. It's not really you. because it's not you. You can change that immediately if you choose to. So it is really a choice.
Yeah, and as you were mentioning, I'll also share this thing with you, and I have a question for you as well.
Yeah.
In your career, in your business, or in your personal relationship, being humble will definitely help you a lot. Definitely. If you're humble, all these things will start falling in place, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, or your personal relationship. I want to ask your experience on this one, because you've been in England, you've been in New York, California, Toronto. These are all big cities.
Yeah.
You've lived there. You've seen the corporate world. You've seen the political world. You've seen the glitz of media. You've seen almost everything. But has being humble, how has that helped you in all these?
It's helped so much because first thing is, whether you're working in the corporate world or in media, or, I was at time a federal government employee in Ottawa, and, or media, whatever the case is, you're always working with somebody, right? And when you are genuinely humble because you're practicing these things for yourself and you show humility, you are more likable, right? Because all of a sudden somebody can connect with you on a level because you. Humility is me understanding I don't know it all, I don't have all the answers, I don't pretend to, and that there's going to be other things that I don't know that I want to learn from you. So when you go to listen to somebody, you're genuinely interested because you don't believe you know everything. As much as you may study constantly, that's when you also realize I don't know everything that I need to know, because no matter how much I learn, I realize how little I knew before. And that gives you a sense of humility as well, in terms of how you see yourself, how you see the world. And when you have that in at work, you get along with people on a different level because you really create the space that you needed to hear someone else and to connect with them and to bond with them. And the other major thing is people work with people they like. So if you are in a profession where you're doing sales, for example, what you're perhaps selling as a product or service is probably something that there are so many other people who are selling as well. That experience, the product or service, whatever the case is. But why are you successful and not your maybe 100,000, tens of thousands of other competitors? Because what you're doing is potentially not different in terms of the product itself or the service, but it's the quality of the experience you're offering, right? It's that ability to connect, and chances are that if I'm in the market to purchase this product or get the service, I'm only going to work with people I like, because why should I not? Even if somebody has a better product or service, but their attitude is not something that's conducive to, the experience of interacting with them, you're less likely to want to call somebody. You call people that you want to talk to. You don't call people you don't want to talk to, right? Because it's the feeling that comes in you. So if you can do that, it just takes you to a whole nother level of, and I'm not just saying it'd be humble to make sales. That's not the point I'm making here. I'm just saying that that's the multiplying effect of just practicing humility.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, and just to add the point that you were making earlier as well, that yes, you're right, we don't know anything. And I've always said this to myself first. If I'm in media, I know less than 1%. I will never claim, and I've never claimed, that I know even 1% in media. There is no way. And say, for example, if someone says I'm a pilot, okay, you know everything about aviation? I doubt so. How many airlines are there in the world? Can you name all the airlines right away as we speak? Okay, you're a physician, you're a doctor. How many types of cancers do we have in the world? Okay, you're a politician. What was the railway budget for Australia in 1964? You're one of the biggest statisticians as far as cricket is concerned. How many runs were scored in 1956 in Test cricket? So I doubt even we know 1% of any field, whether it's aviation, medicine, science, engineering, anything for that matter. So I always tell myself, Yudhvir, you will never read as much, do as much as you want throughout your life, but you will not even know 1%. Stay humble. What's this ego all about? So stay humble because you don't know even one person. What's your take on it?
You're absolutely right. And being open to learning from others and also admitting when you're wrong, right? Like, let's just say you thought something was a fact or something was and then as you open yourself up to learn from other people and experiences and you realize, oh, my perception was, not accurate. And just acknowledging your mistake and apologizing for it also brings you humility. I mean, you went into the description of service to get humility, to be more humble through service, whether you're serving other people, and that is such a humble sort of activity that you can partake in terms of understanding that I'm here to serve other people and make sure that I'm leaving things better than I found it, right? Like you come to this planet and at some point you may think, I should probably leave this planet, we call Mother Earth, better than I came into it. So no matter what your age is and think back, what did you come into? What did the past generations leave you? And say, how can I leave it better than I found it? Just like how when anybody has a child, they always want to do more for their child than what their parents did for them. Because this is something that you do because you want to give, you want to serve. And it just shouldn't just be because of your child, because you love it, but it's also everything else. How did you, the place that you work in, can you leave it better than you came into it? Is there something that you could do? Or even at the local park that you have, can you make sure that it's better by picking up maybe someone else's garbage? Yeah, okay, put on a glove so you're not touching it by hand if you can't wash your hands. But but can you do those acts of service because you are so appreciative of what you have and what's given to you? Like, look at it, like, the fact that you're alive, that's just given to you. You didn't yes, you're maintaining your health and you're doing active things to make sure that you age gracefully or you take care of your well-being, but you were just given life, that was just given to you. There's so many things that are just given to us and we take for granted, right? Such as the fact that we step outside and there's clean air and you're breathing, and that's given to you, right? If you have grass and you can go, and if you want to ground yourself, best technique is take off your shoes and barefoot stand in grass, and that connects you to Mother Earth. It grounds you. It's the most healing experience. That's just given to you. That's so these are all these things that we have and we take for granted because we're having like this out-of-body experience, because we're just always thinking about other things, the past, what happened to me, the past, the future, oh, what do I want? And then, oh, I feel good, oh, I feel bad. And then you're missing like what has just been given to you and everything. Like the fact that I can look at you, that's my eyesight that was given to me. I can see colors, I can see range, if somebody can speak and change their tones, they're all given to you. Like you didn't have to wait in line for that. Did you have to get a coupon, wait in line, purchase it, auction it? Like you didn't have to do anything for it. So I think these are the things you realize, like, oh, wow, like you become so humbled by it because you realize you didn't earn it. I think that's another thing that like humbles me when things happen for me and I'm like, I didn't earn that. Like I don't feel like my action, what I got in return was so far greater than what I put in, and that actually humbles me significantly.
Very well said. Actually, I have that feeling too. I've always felt this, that I'm blessed with all the people that I'm surrounded with all the things that are happening in my life. I am so blessed. I'm so humbled. And that's why I want to live in gratitude and thank God that how come I fail to understand. I fail to understand that how come I'm so blessed I'm getting all this. I don't want to jinx it to the point. But now here I ask you a question, and maybe in this question, there is a hidden secret that we are asking, that did we really earn it? Did we really earn it? How come all these things are happening so well? Let me ask you a question. You want to say something?
No.
No, okay. Ramona ji, do you need love and respect?
I don't. It's nice to have. Those are wonderful things to have. I think I would grow better as a human being in a healthier way, but can I survive without it? Yes, because you love yourself and you have respect for yourself. And that is the foundation, because if I didn't love myself or if I didn't have respect for myself, I can't give it properly or know how to receive it properly.
Right. But no, when I say need doesn't mean that you really need it, but would you appreciate that you're being given love and respect?
That beyond measure, because that is the most wonderful feeling to receive love, because it multiplies the love I have, and to get respect, any sort of respect, when somebody shows a level of respect and kindness, of course, you get so humbled by it. Absolutely.
And I'm sure our audience will agree, they all need love and respect. We all need love and respect. It's a very basic human need, right? Now, the next question, right? How do we get love and respect?
And you're asking me, how do we get, well, first you got to give it, I think. I think that's a big part of, if you can give love and respect to others, and obviously the intention not being because I want it reciprocated, but because it's just, you're going to do it because you feel it, so you're going to share it, right? You feel love, you're going to share love. And it doesn't have to be targeted at something or someone because they did something for you. You're not looking for reciprocation at all. And then when you're not, it actually surprises you with the rush that comes back to you. So it starts with you.
10 on 10. 10 on 10, you said it so perfectly. Actually, you ticked all the boxes, right?
Yeah.
You ticked all the boxes. First, you're right. First of all, yes, you have to give love and respect, and it'll come back exponentially.
Yeah.
It'll multiply and it'll come back, love and respect. So yes, you have to give love and respect. You said a very important point. You cannot discriminate. No. You cannot discriminate at all, whether you're getting any benefit or no, and not with the intention that I need it back.
Yeah.
Because yes, it is within you that yes. And last thing, because from where everything started, do you think if you're not humble, you can respect anyone? You can love anyone? You have to be humble to love and respect anyone. So that is the basic thing from where we started this program. So you have to practice gratitude. You have to practice being humble, and eventually you won't need to practice that. Because I still remember you asked me a question in one of the shows, how do you practice gratitude? Same thing, same question again. How do you practice gratitude? How do you practice being humble? No. Does mother practice giving love to a kid? No. She doesn't have a routine. Okay, this is my routine. This is the time I'm going to love. This is I'm going to practice. No. She is loving her kid. Very similarly, we live in gratitude. We are humble. Simple. We become humble. Yes. That reflects in every aspect. You used a very good thing earlier. Your tone, your choice of words, and more importantly, how do you know this person is humble? In their company, you will feel love, respect, everything. Love, respect, compassion, affection, everything you will feel in their company when you're in their company. Oh, this person is really humble, genuinely humble. This person is radiating love, compassion, energy, everything in their company. And it's all the time you're reading. It's not like, okay, I'm switching on the humble button, I'm switching off the humble button, I'm switching on gratitude, switching off love. No, without discrimination, everything that becomes part of your life. That's how you live a life full of humility.
So let me ask you a question. So
Sure.
if somebody decides that, you know what, I'm not humble enough, and tomorrow, I want to start, just like how you start anything and you have day one, they say, I want to start being more humble. And that's when I use the word practice. How should they start being humble? Because it's something that they don't do, or they acknowledge, or they feel like I'm not humble enough. So how do I make myself the most humble person that I think I want to be?
Great question. Start with basic things. And these things will take you towards the path of spirituality. Because today I'm going to use another thing, Humility is the door to spirituality. Simple. You can do anything else, but if you've not opened the door of being humble, humility, you cannot be spiritual. As simple as that. And this is the foundation. This is the door. This is the foundation. This is everything. If you're humble, if you tell me, okay, I'm humble, I'll say you're spiritual. Simple. You're spiritual. Rest you can achieve anything. Okay, I've achieved nirvana, I'm achieving God. Fine. But if you say, I am humble, you're spiritual. You're spiritual in my eyes. Okay, now coming back, how should we do that? Basic things. First of all, basic things. Be a very good listener. Be a very good listener. Listen to them. I have compassion, I have love, I'm not even ready to listen to someone. I'm interrupting. Oh, no. Basic thing.
I just want to give compassion. Yeah, you're right.
I want to give compassion. I'm talking about compassion, love, but I'm not ready to listen to anyone because I think I know everything.
Yeah.
I know everything. I'm always right. How can I listen? How can I change myself? I cannot do wrong. No. This is basic thing. Start changing all these things. Be a very good and a patient listener, number one. Second thing, always make sure that yes, you are ready actually with nobody to forgive, but let aside, let it go, let go, forgive. No. Because without forgiving, how can you love? And do not compare yourself with anybody. And make sure you're at the bottom. Yes, I'm good. I don't want to lose my self-esteem. I'm good, I'm very good, but so is everyone else. And start feeling, now we're heading towards the spiritual side now. Start feeling the spark of love, divinity in every person. And then you'll start loving everyone. And repeat that prayer. Maybe we don't realize the value of that prayer. Repeat that prayer, make it your mantra. Make it your mantra. What did I say? Thank you. When you're in your gratitude, humbleness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, with folded hands. Thank everyone. When you're thanking everyone, how can I be jealous? How can I compare myself? I can't do anything wrong. Sir, thank you, Ramona ji, thank you to everyone. Number one, start with thank you. Second, we shy away from asking forgiveness. We don't want to admit our mistakes. Second is please forgive me. Please forgive me. Third point, we don't want to say sorry. Oh, ego, humbleness. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Sorry. You have to make sure you start doing this. And then everything will start flowing. You're hugging everyone. You are spreading love. Everyone wants a world full of peace, love, no hatred. Don't spread hateness. How do you do that? How do you do that? Earlier you said on this episode, we should make this world a better place to live when we leave this world. How do you do that? Very simple. Thank you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I love you. Start spreading love. It'll take away the hatred. It'll take away all the hatred when you're spreading love. So that's how you do that. How do you want to, this is a tough one, but how do you want to make sure that with your humbleness and you make this place a better world? How would you do that, Ramona ji?
For me, it's about, I've become really conscious, like really aware of the fact that each time I see somebody, it might be the last time I see them. I know it sounds a bit, morbid, but I'm just being like very serious, just conscious. I'm not like, it doesn't worry me, but it's also, like I went on a trip recently, and before I went on my trip, I was very mindful that this might be the last time I see, like, for example, my parents, or just because you just don't know. So then I thought there was certain things I said I'd do, and then so I made sure I did it, even though I had a very short period of time, because I was like, if I don't see them, then at least I did it. At least it's not, I don't put things off to tomorrow or later. And that's really helped me. So in any moment, even if there's a circumstance where I would maybe get a little bit frustrated, I'm aware of it immediately before it even gets there, and you just ground yourself and you say, well, what is the experience you want to leave with this person, because it might be the last time you see them. So any little task, I remind myself, do it with love. Even the smallest task, like you talked about washing dishes and cleaning shoes, and it's just like, do your best as if it's like your greatest work. Because when you get into that frame of mind, then you're not better than any task. Then you're not better than anything. Nothing is a waste of your time, because it's very easy to feel like certain things are a waste of your time and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. But when you start doing it because you just want to make things easier for other people around you, and also with the acknowledgement that I'm going to leave this better, then so with the parting memory, it's always going to be positive. And when you keep that in mind, I don't know, there's a shift that happens immediately where you just get calm and and you become proud of yourself. Maybe it's one of those things is you're just proud of yourself for having a good attitude, I think, and you're happier as a result. So all of it just comes together nicely, and then things don't really affect you the same way, because it's so minor. And then of course the realization that you're just awareness, you're just observing all these feelings that you're having. You could choose to change how you feel about something by getting in front of it before you get there. Or if you feel like your emotions get out of your control, then do the Ho'oponopo. And the story behind that is, and we talked about this on a previous episode, but just to give you a general background, is that a psychotherapist was hired in Hawaii, and this was the hospital that had prisoners, and these were people who had committed heinous crimes, and but because of their mental incapabilities, they were sent to the hospital ward. And so this person gets hired because there was a high turnover rate, and this person comes and says, well, I have a different method of how I do things. And the hospital administration was, they had no other choice because there was such a revolving door about having somebody take care of that ward. These are incarcerated prisoners, heinous crimes, talking about murder, all sorts of heinous crimes, and they're in this psych ward. And so what he would do is he would sit there, look at their files and their pictures, and would say the Ho'oponopo. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry. And he would just repeat it day and day. And soon enough, the patients were getting healed miraculously, and they were checking out of this psych ward. And these are we're talking about incarcerated prisoners who are in the psych ward. And they were rehabilitating, and they were going back into society, to the point where this ward closed down completely because there was no need for it. And the thing was that his philosophy was that if I'm seeing this, that there must be something within my karmic past or my ancestors that contributed to this. So as my reality is what's happening on my inside, and there's a connection, there's no consequences, I'm going to pray, but I'm sorry, I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm thanking you for forgiving me, and I'm saying I love you, and you did all of that. And so they didn't have to administer it. It was all energetic work. It was all done energy-wise. And he was healing people, not even seeing them or administering anything to them, sitting there in a meditative, almost like a mantra that you're repeating, or what you'd say affirmations. And this prayer was so miraculous. So you understand that no amount of medicine, no amount of physical or psychological therapy healed this except a prayer. And what it does, how it shifts your energy. So it's, when you start doing these things, that's how you leave things. He left things better than he found it, right? Through what he did. So I think it's just being more mindful. I think, I had an accident, I had a concussion, and I had to lie down for about 2 weeks, maybe going on the third week. And it was really hard because it was in my head, my forehead, and my eye. And it was just, if I looked down, if I lifted anything heavy, the pain would come back, and it just wasn't going away. So the doctor said, all you can do is rest. I got, the CT scan, all these things just to make sure everything's okay. So I rested. But during that time when I was resting, it made me realize, because I was thinking what's the purpose? Because I had trips to go on, I had all this work, so I had all this activity, and I had to just take time off. And that time, I think, gave me a lot of self-reflection, but also it showed me slow down. And then, and I thought, if it took an accident for me to slow down, why don't I volunteer? Because I remember I was saying there's two types of things. Something's forced on you, or you can just voluntarily do it and learn your lesson, and therefore you won't have to go through the forced incidences that could multiply, and they're not so nice to deal with. So then I started voluntarily doing things slower. And I remember, and then I think I was just thinking about it so much that one night I was dreaming, and I was saying in my sleep, slow down, eat slower, walk slower. And I noticed that when I do that, and now I'm even speaking slower, it helps me become much more mindful of what's happening, what are my emotions I'm seeing as it comes on, how am I feeling about what I'm seeing, how much truth is, like if I get triggered by something, how much truth is there to my perception, what is the real trigger? It's really not that person or that incident or the traffic or the weather, or whatever you want to blame it on. It's really other things. And so as I slow down, I'm less likely to react. And I think all of that creates an environment that's a little bit better to be around, that I'm creating. Because as I walk into a room, I'm going to vibrate like my frequency at a level. And so if you want to be disruptive, you can come into a room all chaotic and flustered, and other people will feel it, right? Even people who don't see you right away will probably turn because they feel it. So how can you become a calmer, more gentler person by slowing down? Because as soon as you come into a room, other people will also perhaps and hopefully feel a level of calmness as well. So I think that, so I have to say the good side of the concussion that lasted for a bit was that it massively slowed me down. And now I take it as like a type of a lifestyle, because I think it's helpful. I'm seeing benefits from it, like overall, so it helps me be less hyper or less reactive or all those things that doesn't really help me.
Great, what an interesting story that you just shared. Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful story. Wish we had more time, but on a sum up note, I'll just say this thing, that as we were discussing earlier, just in case you want to really do something, be humble, as we were discussing what are the benefits of being humble. I think start from your home. Appreciate, live in gratitude with your parents, with your siblings, with your spouse, with your children, grandparents. Start from home. When you're going out for work tomorrow, appreciate everyone. There can't be any discrimination. So with your co-workers, you have to feel that compassion, love, gratitude. Because of them, the company is running and we are having a good career. And as simple as that, when you're dining out, someone is there to serve you. Thank you, sir. Live in gratitude. Be humble. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Tell them, appreciate them. So anybody that you meet, you can bring smiles on their face. So this is just a simple way to start. When you're being humble, definitely you'll get a lot of love, a lot of happiness, and everything will start falling in its place. Thank you.
Yes, that's wonderfully put. And when something comes to mind, and I really want to share it, is that when you say having that gratitude and being humble daily, and then if somebody is listening to you and they think for a second, well, you don't know my problems, let's say, right? Okay. And I want to say that, and I heard this at a seminar that I went to, a Tony Robbins seminar, and it was so beautifully put, because he says, and it's so true, like as long as you're alive, there's going to be problems. That's the sign that you have a pulse, right? Like if you're alive, there's all kinds of problems. But the reality is that just means you're alive, and so awesome. You get a chance to, learn something, because when challenges show up, it's there to teach you something. It's there for you to learn something, to overcome something. So the trick is about making sure that your life, because you're being mindful in your life, and you're doing your gratitude, and you're remaining humble, and the kindness and love. Your goal in life is to have better problems. Right? Like what is a better problem is, I have a big family that I love so much and I'm running out of time to spend with them. That's a better problem to have than the smaller problems, because then you got to look at the quality of the challenges that you have, and you have to ask yourself, well, thank you, I'm alive. But then look at the challenges, the quality of them, and how do I improve that to just have better challenges, because that's just what it means to be alive. And that's why every day is a reset, every hour is a reset, because you get a chance to to do something about it. But I think also with the gratitude that comes into place is it puts things into perspective. So then sometimes something that seems so big becomes so minor when you put it into perspective, and you put yourself, as your awareness goes into a more positive space.
Yeah, I think if anybody comes to me and they tell me, Yudhvir, we heard you, but you know what? Same question as you says, you don't know my problems. Three things on that one. Someone comes to me and say, you don't know my problems. Number one, are you alive? Number one. Second, if you're alive, there'll only be two outcomes out of it. Either you'll come out alive out of these problems even stronger. That has been the case with everyone. You'll come out more stronger, right? And the third case, this which is definitely going to happen, I haven't come across a single person in my life who would say, I've been, having so many problems for the last 80 years, for the last 70 years, last 6. No, that cannot happen. Problems can last maybe for a certain time. They cannot last forever. There is no way. I've not come across a single person who would say that. So remember these 3 outcomes for sure. Number 1, ask yourself. Now I'll ask the same questions. You ask yourself all these 3 questions. Number 1, are you alive? Yeah, I'm alive. Okay, fine. First box ticks. Second, you might have any number of problems. You'll come out stronger. You will come out stronger. Believe it or not, you will come out stronger. Maybe it's easier said than done, but yes, that's what we're sharing with experience. And third, there is no way. You got to keep telling yourself, yes, I face problem. When I was in this business, I had to slog very hard, but the only thing which kept motivating me was that yes, there's life at the end of the tunnel. Yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and yes, I'll become more stronger. I explained this thing to myself. This is what I share with you.
Yeah.
Your final comments.
And stronger doesn't necessarily mean you become harder or ruthless. It means you become more humble. It means you learn the lesson. You become more knowledgeable. You become more grateful, or you become more compassionate for others because you've had a set of challenges, so you can immediately have a level of emotion towards someone else because they might be going through something similar. So that's what stronger means. It doesn't mean like you feel less or, and I think it's important because I think our culture shows us this strong character that, doesn't let anything phase it or how it would be portrayed. And then I think the reality is a strong person is somebody who can actually cry. That's more of a strong person who can show human emotion and show vulnerability. That takes a lot of strength to show vulnerability, or somebody who could say, I'm sorry. That's strong because there's the depth and the learning that's come with it. Not somebody who cannot do that. That's not strong. That's the opposite. So it's so important to acknowledge that.
I couldn't agree more on this one, although I had given my final thoughts. But you've hit the nail on the head. You've hit the nail on the head. What does strong mean? Stronger doesn't mean that, yes, I have biceps of this many inches. That doesn't mean stronger. When I say stronger, what I meant by stronger means you're more humble. If honestly, with due respect, again, with due respect, I'm saying this, if someone were to ask me what is my biggest strength, it is humility. Humility is make this as your strength. When I say you'll come out stronger, you'll be more caring, you'll be more compassionate, you'll be more humble. Humility will be your biggest strength. Try it out. So that's what will make you stronger. It's not like, okay, I'm going to punch someone hard, I will become stronger. No.
I know what you meant, but I just wanted to, because I know how society and culture, how we've seen strong for so long in the movies, and all of these things, and the action hero films and the archetypes of strong. And I just want to say, actually being strong is being the ability to be vulnerable, to have humility. So I knew what you're saying, but I just really wanted to, talk about how it's been misrepresented in society.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
No, of course, thank you. Thank you for this conversation on humility. Of course, we've always been, told by our parents to be more humble, and we try to practice more humility. And this conversation, I think I learned so much from you, so thank you for that.
I always learn so much from you. Thank you so much. Gratitude. And once again, we want to say this, try practicing this, and it's a great thing. Ramona ji taught me this thing, and Ramona ji, since you've taught me this thing, I practice this a lot. Once again, we'd like to say thank you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I love you. Thank you.